Okay, let's go. Welcome to my new project that I will be doing probably for a few years. Um, this is like the first season, first episode, and the project uh, is a thing that I wanted to do like for maybe 15 or 20 years. Like I've been thinking about this for a very long time. And when I started streaming, a few years ago, I actually thought that I would be doing this one um, really soon, but for some reason, I always ended up like postponing it. And so the idea of this project is to make a game engine, a full-fledged game engine in just 32 kilobytes. So 32 kilobytes is all the code that is the size that will fit basically the 3D game engine with rendering and um, physically realistic shading and stuff like this, like voxel engine. It will also fit physics. It will also fit multiplayer and networking capabilities. And it will also fit scripting, so there will be scripting that you can do everything, modify everything, and also, but like 32 kilobytes won't fit any game data. So the actual target is 64 kilobytes, which is like this demo scene size limit for intros, and so there's this split of 32k. Also, it will also fit like sound and music engine too. And so there's 32 kilobytes is engine only, and 32 kilobytes left with game data. So you're supposed to make a game within remaining 32 kilobytes. So it's when I was talking about this being a project that I was thinking for like 15 years, so obviously like for it changed along the years, like with the way I was thinking about it. But the general idea was still the same. By the way, hello, Garrett. Привет, Гек, РК. Помочь с физикой хорошо. Так рано стримлю. Кто работает? Я вчера не стримил вечером. Вот. И сегодня будет коротенький стрим такой на часок, просто введение. So yeah, the main language today is English. I will probably be switching to Russian to answer some comments in Russian. But yeah. Why English? Because I want to. Привет, Боча, by the way. And the trigger for me to start this project today, like I was thinking about starting it, like really starting it about for maybe a year. I was just thinking, okay, next month I will start this project. But the trigger to do it today was actually yesterday evening. I was reading about this license agreement situation with Unity. And I was, okay, so there's an opportunity to make yet another engine, and this engine will be under WTFPL, so you can do whatever the fuck you want to with it. And yeah, that's just... квадратного, конечно, квадратного, без них никуда. Для представления крутящего момента. Я еще не сильно хорошо думал про это. То есть, почему я все время откладывал этот проект, это... Okay, maybe I'll switch to English also, like to reply to this comment. So basically, I haven't thought all the details about this project. I just generally feel that it's possible to do a game engine within 32 kilobytes. 32 kilobytes of compressed code, obviously. And I haven't thought about all the details, especially like physics. I will be researching a lot of stuff along the way. So yeah. Hello, Arseny. What are all the stupid freaking what? I have no idea what the problem is, like Restream or Facebook or whatever. So yeah, so today's plan is to just create a repository for this project, import my library for window and OpenGL initialization code, which is like this eto thing, clean up it a little bit. There are things that I will be trying to improve there. And that's probably it for today. Timestamp recurrent to smile. Yeah. This is horrible internet. So this is 32 kilograms. Description 32 kilo. A game engine in kilobytes. It's public, readme, do I, yes, of, let's see, a license, so they don't have WTFPL, but I think I need like MIT, but I will add WTFPL for this thing too. Okay, maybe that's Restream. Yeah, I don't have a way to change that. Okay, so create repository. That's nice. So now we should like clone it. What? What? Is it like taking permission denied? Public key? Why? I do have a public key here. Okay, I will be doing this on another screen. Not okay, I probably don't have for some reason key for this machine. Let's add it. Okay, now it should work. Привет, Фраг. Как оно? Привет, Светлана. Okay, so 32K it is. So yeah, at this point I need to add an HTTPS for other people to be able to clone it, but then I will switch it to SSH URL. Should I put it as under set? I probably just will do this. And that's basically it. So we can go to we don't have anything here. And what I want to do here is to reorganize this project a bit. So I want to actually make an include move add to include, because there are headers there. Sources, okay, I will just leave them as is for right now. And I also want to make a make file for this thing. So how would I want to organize that? I would want to do something similar to Stameska. Which has this Stameska MK thing, sorry, that can be included from other projects. So, and other thing that I will be adding to this is I actually want to add to be compilable on many different platforms. It currently supports Linux, Windows, and Raspberry Pi. I would want to make it also support Android, Mac. I'm not sure about this at this moment because they are deprecating OpenGL. I wonder whether it would be possible to make a rendering engine within like small size limit using Vulkan. Because like Vulkan seems to be really verbose and you have to do a lot of stuff to make it work, and I'm not sure like whether that's a good idea for small sized intros. Okay. So let's just make Eto and its samples work today. This our goal for today is to make this work. So I will start by probably just copying Stameska MK here. Just and what we'll do here is we change this all Stameska to Eto. Eto doesn't have an executable, so this is just to get a list of library objects. Also doesn't have any rocket grab, so we don't really need to do any of this. CC, we don't need any CC because like this is just a C. This will be just bare C project. Eto base dir good base. What what I was wondering here about is, do I have any OpenGL headers in here? No, I don't have, so I depend on OpenGL being available on my platform. Okay. CSX flags, we don't have any. This is for Linux, so we actually want to import some settings from other project, which is open source. I had really good makefile here for Raspberry, so I need to make this, to actually add this back. This is actually only needed on cross-platform, on cross-compiling. So I will have it here. If we are not cross-compiling, we have this native thing. I think we also had an issue with different library file names on contemporary Raspberry installations. So I had some project line around the Raspi come back. BRCM. So yeah, we have this BRCM stuff, and I believe we don't need any of these. Those are automatic. And we don't need any of this. After my completion went off a week, I decided not cross-compile for Raspberry. So yeah, it's really slow to compile on Raspberry, but it's just barely fine to compile C. C. C++ takes ages. So yeah. etc pack. So we'll probably be importing this one for Raspberry, but what do we do? Need to do next platform. This compiler. Interesting, we have different notations for compiler here. So this is just a name for the compiler. Okay. We are cross-compiling. There are actually a way to cross-compile with Clan. Yeah, let's leave that for next thing. Compile C. Okay. Platform configuration. Configuration is either debug or release. Okay. C++ we don't have. We won't have it here. Compile C sources. We have them up. So yeah, we do have a problem with going up the directories because of the way I do my out of the, how do they call it properly? Shadow build. So there's an issue with this, but can I make this a function that I can call for other sources? I'm not sure, but yeah, so this S01E01 sets up an environment for cross compilation. No, Arduino is not like general purpose. You can probably install on Linux on some more. Okay, as a disclaimer, I don't really know that much about Arduino. I had my experience with Atmel controllers like 10 years ago, and as far as I remember, like you could install really patched Linux on some larger microcontrollers there, but it wouldn't be a full-fledged Linux because those MCs don't have memory management units, so the memory is flat and you don't have any like protection, so every process can write into other process memory, and yeah, so there are Linux not forks, like patches, Linux patches to be able to make Linux kernel run on non-MMU platforms, and it was possible to do that as far as I remember. But it's still like rather small and slow, so you don't probably want to run anything there as like operating system stuff. And those microcontrollers are just 8-bit microcontrollers with like 10 to 20 megahertz clock and like a few kilobytes of memory. So yeah, basically assembler NC is basically what you want to do there. Yeah, this is distinction that makes correct impression, basically. So yeah, Raspberry Pi is a general purpose computer. You can install Linux and do everything as you would do it on a desktop. Arduino is like a just small, slow, energy efficient microcontroller that you're not supposed to run any operating system on. It's just a single firmware, single small program that you run there. And yeah, as I was saying, there are ways to do to install Linux or like larger variations of that, but you don't really want to do that. Okay, so this is S01E01. How are you supposed to run it? I think we can close this for now and do a make file. And we're supposed to have a lot of samples. At this point, I really want to write make file GNU make file function. So I want to make something that this doesn't look pretty. Function call. this is yeah, this is what I want. I want to make my own function. So yeah, define something. Can I define function that defines a target? Define function that defines target. Okay, let's postpone that. So at this point, what I want to do is I want to list my sample sources. Not samples, it's like examples. Those are examples, so let's rename them. Those are simple examples, and what I want to do with them is just list them all. 3C, what we have? App cube FB, app C, 3C. Cube C, frame buffer C, and tree bench C. And now I want to make examples out of them, but first I need to define this, which is example objects. Object here the same, and then I should just list my examples, which is like it's not pretty again. Object here, examples 3 0 and 3 cube tree cube tree bench. So you know what? Okay, if I list like examples as this thing, so app3 cube frame buffer and tree bench, do I have a way to specify, like I can generate example sources like this, so it's basically examples object here, so this will replace this, right? Yeah, this should replace this. Then we generate objects. But do we have a way to generate our targets in a similar fashion? Yeah, those are examples. Do I have anyone on the chat who is familiar with makefiles? Makefile, macro, targets. Maybe I could write something like this. Object year examples. Something like this. And this actually means that you depend on CO. And this will replace all of this, hopefully. And then I can also like example sources and example executables, which is object year examples. I have no idea whether that will work. And yeah, I also have to have something here. I don't need C++. Libs, do I have anything else to say? No. This should be it, I think. But I have no idea. Mix implicit and normal rules deprecated syntax. Alright, in recipe. 57. So you don't like line 57. Why would that be a deprecated syntax? We don't have a Stoneska here. Yeah, we also have to have this. Okay. We'll close this, this goes to screen 2, and this goes to screen 1. And that's more natural. Тинжак, привет. 20 лет программирую, вроде 10 из них я этим зарабатывал. А какая специализация, какие собеседование в какие компании. Ну, то есть там много же всяких этих. Может быть, люди ожидают, не знаю. Ну, мне сложно строить гипотезы, не зная ничего. Ненормальный какой. Зачем жить? Это я сейчас тоже нормальными вещами занимаюсь, да, то есть игровой движок 32 килобайта, плюс почему-то это превратилось в возню с мейкфайлами. Окей. What was the verbose thing? Debug. I haven't seen that error before. Maybe I have something. No, it should be like this. Object here is build dir plus platform config, so should be just fine. Okay, maybe I will have some insight by reading this. This is split the rules. This is weird. Like I do have an implicit rule. This is just an implicit rule. There's no like there's no normal. It's not normal rule. What the hell are you talking about? Why? Why? It's as if like a object contains something weird. So if I just do it like this, will it have... So it won't complain. Right? So yeah, it doesn't complain. So object is probably contains something weird. Platform. So we have everything is set. Okay, we had a space. No rule to monitor build Linux examples app. Example executables examples. Here examples. But we do have this rule, and this should be enough. Let's make it this way. Okay. Run. Paste. Just any file in these object examples. We'll need to ну проблема, короче, забутстрапить себя в графику действительно очень тяжело. То есть я до сих пор, я сколько вот уже лет 5 хоббиирую на графику, там всякие демопатии, еще что-то, и я до сих пор профессионально не там, даже не близко. Поэтому I feel your pain, bro. Что бы я посоветовал? Я бы посоветовал фигачить портфолио. То есть иметь большой... смотрите, я умею на WebGL вот это, на WebGL вот это, смотрите, я разбираюсь, и тогда можно, да, как-то что-то пытаться на собеседование идти. Возможно, через там понижение зарплаты или еще чего-то, ну, потому что это новая область. То есть там, ну, сеньором не возьмут, да. Looking for implicit rule for examples. So, consider target SRC at SRC. Okay. Why such a long path? Must remake. Failed remake. So it didn't even make any directories. So yeah, we should do this too. Clean should not be a default target, I'd say. Okay, so for some reason you don't like this, you don't like this rule. Target file examples. Examples, no implicit. Okay, consider target file examples app file. Doesn't exist, that's okay. Looking for implicit rule. Try and pattern rule with stem app. Try and rule prerequisite. Okay. Okay, looking for a rule with intermediate file. CO, avoid implicit rule recursion. What is going on here? So apparently you don't, but you found one. You just considering target file doesn't exist. Implicit rule. You found this. You found this and then went to look for. yeah, this is not correct. This is totally not correct. Okay. It's still the same. Still the same. Avoiding implicit rule recursion. Okay, what if I do just let me build this one? I'm not going to comment. What? This should be a thing. No, I will. So, maybe that's clan specific. Okay. Okay, then. No such file or directory. That is weird. Why are you thinking that this is recursion? Okay, what if I do this? Will anything change? Yes. I can see that you are now but why do you have undefined reference to main? You should have main. You should have a defined reference to some other crap. What is going on? So you built Linux and X11, and then you added this. When you started to link things, you just added Linux and not X11. Maybe I completely forgot how to do my files. So let's open then. Let's open some other project then. Maybe that's what I'm supposed to add here. And then you will complain about something else. And what? Again, I uncommented this. If I do this, you will... Yeah, this is what I expect to happen. Let's do it commented themselves. So we compile these add to dependencies, and then we compile, we try to link with them. And we fail because we don't have actual example application going on there. Maybe that's how you're supposed to run. No. Interesting. Okay, let's look at debug again. Train pattern rule with stem app. Okay, found this. Implicit FCO. We should be able to do this. Maybe like this. Okay. Okay. This is more like it. But you are complaining about this. I thought that I enabled like GCC extensions. Okay. And yeah, so another thing that this will probably not work on Windows because Windows has only like C89. Okay. I don't care about Windows at this moment. '63. Okay, this is nice. So now I can try to examples and run them. So application just will print stuff that's going on. Triangle will draw triangle. What I have, frame buffer will draw something, whatever. User error, jail uniform 1 used is sampler not float. Invalid on jail front face. Okay, so we need to fix that. Cube, what will cube do? Okay, cube draws a cube, which is nice, I guess. At least it doesn't lie to us. Then triangle bench will draw a lot of triangles. This is the test. Was a test for Raspberry Pi to have an idea of its performance. That like there are tens of thousands of triangles, and it works just fine. Okay, so we made this thing. I want to add this, I want to add this. I want to add this, and mark this as removed, because it will detect them as renamed. And and also all of these ones. And this is not the last thing. I also wanted to move at IO to include at IO H. Although these don't work properly, I will be addressing that in future episodes. Why did I not do like... Yeah. Да, такой вид оптимизации есть. Более того, там есть всякие интересные штуки вида... сейчас я вспомню. Дело в том, что может сразу прям большими кусками выкидывать. Udio rename to Uido. Да, спасибо, сейчас пофикшу. Вот, короче, там есть оптимизации, которые позволяют прям на уровне, ну да, фрагментов, то есть групп пикселей выкидывать это все. И если хотя бы один пиксель, он не может сказать, что он точно не будет записан, он вызывает весь фрагмент, и это сильно портит производительность, например, на случаях, когда, конкретно на моей практике, я рисовал там сотни тысяч, миллионы частиц, пока они квадратненькие, это все хорошо. То есть оно позволяет вот этим early z-тест кучу из этих частиц выкинуть, и все нормально. Но как только я начинаю пытаться их сделать круглыми через дискард некоторых сэмплов, ну, по краям, да, в углах, это начинает вот этот early z-тест сильно ломать, потому что он не может определить для фрагмента, он будет точно записан или нет, потому что, короче, вот это включение... или нет, или это было не через дискард фрагмента. Может, это было не через дискард фрагмент. Это было точно, когда я пытался в фрагменте задать его z-глубину. То есть, когда я пытался рисовать частицы не плоскими, там, квадратами, неважно чем, да, наверное, на дискарде это все-таки будет работать. А вот на... Хотя надо проверить, я не очень хорошо помню. А вот когда я пытался сделать частицы выпуклыми по глубине во фрагментном шейдере через запись в их... через кастомное задание Z во фрагментном шейдере, вот это early Z-тест ломало, потому что он теперь не знает заранее, какую Z я запишу во фрагментном шейдере, он вынужден вызывать шейдер. Вот такая была еще штука. Шейдер не пишет. Дискард отключает. Вот я этот момент плохо помню. Видимо, когда дискард, она тоже отключается. И где-то это было объяснено. То есть на какой-то момент я это хорошо понимал. Если это правда. То есть... Я сейчас звучу как полная чушь, конечно. Okay, so we cleaned up this a little bit. Build Windows. Why do I have like shell scripts for building on Windows? Like this doesn't make any sense. Maybe that's a cross compilation for Windows. Okay, I think I will be also removing these scripts because they don't make any sense. And yeah, I think that's it for general structure cleanup. Clean, add proper make files to build at the end examples. I think that will be the comment. I also need to update the git ignore with yeah. Ignore build. Okay. So now I'm almost ready to work on this. So let's actually try to figure out what we'll be doing with this 32K thing. There are a lot of things to address. Some of them are in parallel. So for the purpose of this, for it to be really compact, I will be selecting like only one single approach for anything that can have multiple approaches. So for example, it will have traditional triangle rendering, but the way that geometry will be built is actually by triangulating sign distance function fields. So all the geometry that you would make for a game, you will have to specify in using sign distance fields and not in shaders. You want to I think I won't support adding custom shaders to a game, but that is an open question now because well, anyway, this is a separate topic. I just think that at the first stages I won't have to support the adding shaders because generally rendering will work using like this really specific model. So to specify geometry, you will have to specify it using sign distance fields, and a way to specify those fields is not shaders, but using its scripting, not language, but scripting virtual machine, like scripting bytecode that I will be also making for this thing. So it will have a scripting bytecode which will have 3 different purposes, at least as I can expect now. So it will have like general game scripting. So you will be able to specify your game logic using this bytecode. It will also use the same bytecode, like the same bytecode interpreter for synthesizing sounds and music, and also for specifying the geometry, specifying sign distance field. So you will write basically a function for a point in space. Okay, let's Google this discard early Z test. I think it was specified somewhere, described somewhere. Like early Z test was pioneered by AMD, like not AMD, ATI. Early Z and discard. So here's the topic about this thing. Maybe I think there is almost always terminals related on some hardware. Okay. I was trying to say something, but then like decided not to. In order to depth, any depth test must be able to read from. Okay, so I probably understand what's going on there. So actually, the thing is, when you are doing early that test, you can, if there are not discards and no depth updates from fragment shader, you can do all the like early that test stuff before your fragment shader actually executes, and I mean like generally. So at the how is this stage called, like primitive assembly stage, you have this thing where I think it's dedicated hardware or something, but something that you can't program in on contemporary hardware. It will have this representation of triangles of your geometry, and it can do early that test using that representation. So it can actually, before it can update its internal Z pyramid or whatever they're using, using that representation of geometry. And they can do early that write and that test at this stage without calling fragment shader. If you are doing discard, you can't do that write at the primitive assembly stage because you don't know whether each pixel individually will end up in updating that value. Like for specifying that value in fragment shader, it means that you need to you don't know that value itself, which is like understandable. But if you do discard somewhere in shader, if there like a path that can lead to discard, then at this point you don't know whether you can write or can't write your Z value and update your your depth of information before calling a fragment shader, and that's what makes it break. I hope that makes sense. Okay, actually what I was doing I was telling you about general idea of this thing. So I'm trying to formulate a graph of things that I would need to do for this project. So a lot of things actually depend on a scripting interpreter. How do you call this in English? My pronunciation is horrible. So in order to do graphics, we need to have this thing, or we need to have some dummy graphics, which I don't believe is a good idea. So basically, next thing that we need to do for this stuff is to actually make our interpreter and try to make something with it. And if we need to make a geometry, we need this interpreter which makes geometry, which makes sine distance function to generate geometry, and then we need to voxelize it, and then we need to triangleize it. So about voxelization step. I think that I really want to make this engine focused on voxels and focused on like different scales of voxels, so you can do whatever. And so for that sign distance function, I believe we need a separate like voxel stage. And then to make the graphics, to make triangular model, we need to make it using those voxels. And I haven't yet decided on exact representations of voxels. I will have to read about that. And also, like, these voxel models will be used for physics, and because like our internal geometry representation is actually solids, so voxels are basically solids, so this is not like some triangular surface or whatever. I think it will greatly help us to do physics properly, and we could actually, like, using voxel models, we could do some coarse fluid simulation. But we'll see like whether that goes, where that goes, and whether that works. So I really should start building like projects and sub-projects and tasks and stuff like this. But I will have to do some planning on offline for that. I'm not feeling like doing this live on stream. It will be just me sitting and being silent for too many minutes. Okay, so I think that's it for today. That's it for today. At least I announced this thing, and I will be doing it. What I wanted to do is I wanted to add a graphics here in image. How do I need an URL? I need to upload it somewhere. Okay, I will do it some another time. Okay then, if you don't have any more questions, I think I will be ending the stream. Okay, maybe let's just start filling some things. So, project name. How should I call this? Like, this is VM. Okay, this is a VM. Single bytecode interpreter to do things. Game logic. Specify geometry using STF and sound sync music synthesis. Okay, let's try this. I have no idea. There are more. Columns to do high priority, low priority, closed. Reviews. I don't have any reviews. Let's see whether that makes any sense. Create, give your project name. Whoa, a lot of hotkeys. Nice. New column, drag and drop, search. Actually, this doesn't look like... I'm trying to figure out what would be my workflow for this project. And I'm not sure. So there are... So, okay, there are issues. Issues can be used for like simple... for defined amount of work, like single thing that can be implemented, tested, and added to the engine can be a task. But this thing like VM is a long going thing. Like there are a lot of... It won't be probably finished ever, like finished as in all tasks are done. There always will be something that is like I want to do. And also like this VM thing has its own board, so it has its own tasks and I can like move them around, but I really do need a separate view for like general view of things in flight. Like that I can plan on stream. So probably adding VM as a project is not a good idea. But that depends on whether I can create a project that like a meta project for all the things. I will have to try things out to understand what workflow I can build on these things. Okay, then I will try this offline. Okay, I enjoyed this stream. Thank you for watching and thank you for commenting, and I'll see you next time, whenever that will be. And I will be doing several projects switching between them, and well, yeah, see you. Bye.